Hello and welcome back to episode 77. We have our conversationalists, Gary Kennedy, Gaby Brett Corcoran, Alexandra, who's the only one of us who made the effort to change our top and make it look like we're recording on different days. Oh, Gaby, you changed. Sorry, I didn't notice. I groomed my beard a little. And, of course, Erika. And so we are going to have a conversation, a twofold conversation. One is fears, which I think we'll all understand. The other is sunk cost fallacy. Sunk cost fallacy is basically continuing to do something that you've invested time or resources in purely because you've invested time or resources into it. It's no longer serving you. It's not useful. It's not beneficial to your life. Gaby made the comment in the last episode that she looked at some things, and if it wasn't serving her, if it wasn't something that was being done for others, and therefore, she had commitment to it, it was out the window. But my experience is people have a lot of trouble letting go of those things and throwing them out the window. It's one of the reasons that we have procrastination, because people won't let go of stuff and just do the job or stop doing it, as we talked about in that episode. So I open the floor to you. What are you doing that you are only doing because of the time and commitment you've already put into it?
The first thing which popped into my mind when you said that was a time where I was holding on to a job for so long, and another time studying a subject I didn't like anymore because of that fallacy. And I think the real reason behind this was, will I be seen as a failure when I quit it? What will my parents say after investing 2 years in this university and the course was really bad? What will people say about it? So there was also fear of judgment. So all those came in, and sometimes it can be also a feeling of duty. I was part of a group for a long time where it didn't give me joy anymore. It had become a chore, and I stayed for ages because of this feeling of duty. So that's three who actually come in for me. So fear of failure, or being seen as a failure, judgment, and this feeling of duty comes in for me, but because I had a few times in my life.
What I know when you first brought this up, right before we recorded, I was like, "What in the hell?" And now, when you explained it to me, my initial reaction wasn't about things; it was more about relationships, right? Like this, I feel like plays in a huge amount for people that hold on to partners or friendships that, oh, well, I've known them for 20 plus years, so because of that, I need to still be in friendship with this person. Or we've been in together for X amount of years and we're not really growing together, and we don't really even like each other, but it's been 20 plus years. So I'm just going to stay. And obviously, I mean, the initial obvious is fear of being alone, right? But the fear of being judged for lack of commitment, possibly. I don't know. But I don't see it so much. I mean, I could see it holding on to a job, and I try to apply it to myself, but that's not the real reason that I stay. It's not because I feel like I have I'm invested, so I have to stay. I stay because it pays my bills, and I have to stay there right now for financial reasons only. But don't shake your head unless you're willing to say something else about why I should leave that job. But it's mostly relationships for me where I think I would see this more, or have seen it.
I just want to point out, Erika, that one of our subscribers actually is like in your line of command. So you might want to just rein in a little bit. You've got Brett sitting there who's in a relationship with you. You've got your boss who's listening.
Really?
This is not the place to go splitting up with people or
I'm
putting
not.
your resignation in.
Nope.
Brett, you were looking in a charitable way, judgmental about that. What have you got? What are your thoughts?
I feel like a job, right? You can shift a job, right? We have our things that play around and bounce off the inside of our head and saying what the next one is not going to be, that this one is, right? But the reality is it can be a gift walking away from one and stepping into the next. It could be a pay raise. It could be connecting with people that do things in a different way, right? And I'm looking for just in my own world, right? Like I've worked with different contractors and different people, and each core group is ran differently and has different personalities. Some people are very focused on negative energy and will talk great to your face. You turn around and they're stabbing you in the back, right? And then you got other jobs that they will tell you right to your face, right? And look to support you. And there's just so many variations. So you never know what you're going to get when you go to the next one. But we go to fear, right? Because I have to leave this. It's change, right? Sometimes change isn't a bad thing. I mean, yes, it could be, no doubt. But in the end, is it really that bad? Because look where you are now. You've had change in the past, and now you're here, right? So there's something about growing, and there's a growing piece to change, right?
I can get for sure that, that's the positive reframe. But if you cast your mind back to when you were teaching and the attachment that you had to that, and the struggle, the resistance that there was for you to leave, that's the kind of the negative part of the sunk cost fallacy. What are the kids who are the kids gonna be left with to teach them? Like Erika said, am I walking out on somebody? Am I breaking a commitment? Thank you. Gary, Alexandra?
Erika mentioned that other people's judgment. I think it was Erika. Is that how do other people judge us if I walk away from whatever it is? But I think there's something even deeper than that. It's how will I judge myself if I walk away? What will I think? What will this say about me? And then we have this internal dialogue going on. And with all the negatives, I'm a quitter. I give up. I don't care. I have no compassion. I'm not loyal. Whatever it is. And so this then feeds into all of those negative thoughts that are kind of floating around anyway, but now they have something to attach to that is real. That is, a particular moment in time that we say, oh yeah, see, that's me all over. And so I think that there's that going on as well. And so we need to find ways to, again, find the reality, moving away from those generalizations. But that's what it does to us, and so in relationships, I've had that. Stayed in a relationship far longer than I should have done because of that, because of how other people judge me, because of societal expectations. What the? Why did I do that to myself and to the other person as well? And then, there was away from relationships. I bought into timeshare, and I wanted to show people it wasn't a stupid thing to have done. Oh my word! And when I was using it, fine. I stopped using it for years. I kept on paying. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gab.
Yeah, you had some really good points, Gary. And, when you were talking, I was wondering as well, is it related to our values when I judge myself? So if I have a value that I'm a loyal friend and if friendship doesn't serve anyone anymore, well, either them nor me, am I holding on for dear life because I'm loyal?
Yes.
I'm wondering about this sunk cost fallacy since it's like time invested, right? Is the is the driving concept behind it. It's I'm staying here because I've invested in this time, and the fear behind it. How does this apply to families, right? I mean, you're born into that. So it's like, talk about time. I am born into this family. Some families are not healthy to stay in, but we stay because this is a deeper level, right? Like, this is not just time invested. This is what I was born into. Talk about time invested. This is my whole life that I know this person or the way that this is going. But yet that's some of the hardest detachment that's out there, when you recognize or come to a recognition, some parts of this are not working for me anymore. There's huge fear and judgment that comes with detaching from that, right? And making the choice to say, I am no longer wanting this, even though it's my family of origin and it's my whole life and like my DNA is here. How do I make that transition to put me first? Like, do the cost analysis around that. Like, what am I going to lose if I continue to let myself be open to feeling this way?
I think in this case, because it's family, there is a different layer to it, and that's social conformity. Because we are told, especially if you maybe were brought up religious as well, you were taught family is the most important thing. You have to honor your parents, no matter what bastards they might be, right? Because there's a lot of parents who are not nice. Why would you honor them? But I think there's a lot of social stigma as well. I have to be with my family. It's wrong to sever the ties. And you hear it all the time. Oh, her son, he's not even contacting her anymore. And there's this judgment straight away. And nobody knows why. He might have a good reason. Oh.
There's a whole thing going on out there in the world with the rate of frequency with which estrangement is happening, right? And from the grief aspect, the grief that comes with that feeling, that loss, that specific type of loss, and it's more common than ever now. And I think that if we listen to it, it's just another way of honoring yourself in something that doesn't work for you, right? There's like a movement in here, a hidden movement in here, that it's okay to make decisions, family or not, right? Family's everything. Yeah, okay, that's great. And I wish that was true for me.
Yes.
Let's recognize that and the pain that brings, right? And let's stop judging people for making that really hard decision to say, I love you, I wish you well, but I'm all right over here, without the judgment of that.
Sorry. Brett's spoken in the past about people coming into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime. And I guess a lifetime could be family of origin. But there's a really important sort of discernment factor in there about what is that reason, what is the season that they've come to support me in or guide me through, and recognizing that it's actually all right to let people go. That's not only is it all right, it's actually a necessity, but there's a fear of doing that.
I really feel like the fear behind, for this specific thing, like we were talking family and even like close friendships and relationships, it's the fear of, that's really fucking painful to like experience what that feels like. I don't want to feel that. I'm afraid of what that feels like, to actually acknowledge that I am not getting that connection that I really want, that these friends that I thought I knew aren't really who I thought they were for me, right? Like, I don't fit anymore. That's painful as hell. I think that I don't know if there's a fear of that emotion, tapping into that emotion, what that emotion really will bring, possibly.
Yeah, I think we do well to remember that we change. So not only do we change, but the people around us change. And we aren't the same people that we the person that we originally met all those years ago, whether that's a friend or whether it's a partner, and maybe that initial attraction even. Beyond that, maybe we begin to see, well, no, we do see more and more of somebody, and sometimes the more we discover is not the more we love. The more we discover, the more we realize, this isn't the person, and it's okay to let go. But at that stage, we've invested, we've got the sunk costs, and allowing ourselves to get rid of those unwritten rules, it is a real operation. It's a movement of the will to notice what those rules are and to say, no, I can get rid of those. They're not written in stone. They're not the 10 Commandments, and even the 10 Commandments aren't the 10 Commandments anymore. They don't have to rule over me.
Alexandra, I was wondering if this fits at all into your thoughts about procrastination.
It fits with everything right now. I'm just there sitting, listening to all of you, and I'm like, yeah. It just hits hard. It's hitting hard. If it's honestly in, procrastination, family relationship, work, myself, everything, honestly, is much more deeper than I thought it will be. Totally relate to what you say, guys, each of you, like the values and what you say, Erika, last. I just feel it's really difficult to let go. It's actually such a painful thing. It's truly painful for so many reasons, because you not just invested time, you invested emotions, you invested yourself, you invested so much of you that it feels like losing a part of you when you let go. And it can be, for so many reasons, it can be absolutely healthy, and it can be a new opportunity and opening new doors for you. And it can mean amazing things. However, it still feels like you have to grieve about it.
100%. I'm wondering if some of the fear, because we started this with the relationship, right, between fear and this sunk cost fallacy, it's specific to this kind of thing that we're talking about, is the fear of who the hell am I without this? Like, I don't even know who I am going to be anymore. So that's scary, number one. And then the fear of, can I handle it? Can I handle it when I say goodbye or step away from this? Now, those are severe unknowns. Like, seriously, you don't know it until you're in it, and you realize you have a lot more strength than you thought, right? So that fear could be unfounded, but it's legit. It's a real fear. Like, I don't know if I can handle it, and I don't know, if I want to handle this pain.
Has anybody ever had a thorn that's stuck in them, and first of all, you don't realize that it's there, and then when you notice it, and it's getting a bit pussy, and I've got to pull it out, and when you go to pull it out, that hurts like hell. And separating yourself from the thing that's hurting you, bizarrely, is painful. And then you've got to clean up the wound that's left. But the healing takes place, and you move on, knowing it's better without you. You're not going to be poisoned because you've done that hard thing. But the hard thing is difficult.
And the beauty about that is when you pull out that first thorn, right? You realize, oh shit, I have other ones. Hold on. Now it's a lot easier. I'm going to start pulling all the thorns out, and I'm going to, weed that right out. Yeah.
That's a great analogy. I mean, when you think about the healing that's taking place around that thorn, pus itself is the white blood cells. It's the defensive reaction of the body coming to push that thing out away from the body where it's causing this insult or injury. And even with the fear, we know that people will stay in work, in relationships, in families that are abusive, but it's safer, feels safer to be in the familiar than it does to step out into that unknown. So I'm wondering if we close this with any suggestions for anybody that's listening this and, like Alexandra, has thought, oh, that actually hit harder than I thought that episode actually was going to. So thoughts, support for those people.
I think for me, the realization was each time I was in a situation like that was they don't live your life. Like if you're really sticking with something because you're afraid of the change or you're afraid of judgment from other people, those other people don't live your life. You live your life. So live your own life. Don't live your life by the thought, what do other people think of me? They don't know. So, and we change all the time. Change is actually good. If I would say, whatever you do now, you're not allowed ever to change anything at all. It has to be the same for the next 50 years. How boring would that be? And to realize that it's actually exciting, it's adventure. And just to trust myself, I will be okay. I managed everything by now, all my life, and I will the rest of my life. I just trust myself.
I guess I would say to anyone listening who this might hit with is you don't have to do it alone either, right? Like seek support. We're always here. Engage with us. We're happy to hold space, and you just don't need to do it alone. Like this is part of what community is.
I mean, part of it is admitting it, being honest about what's happening. And like you say, Erika, is get people around you who care about you. It could be a friend, it could be anybody who you know is going to be there to support you. And, friends are normally very good at doing that. But if not, then, like you say, talk to somebody like us, somebody professional.
I think I would also just add to that. It's okay to trust yourself and give yourself permission for feeling the way that you are, right? And not try to talk yourself out of it because you think you're supposed to.
Any thoughts, Brett or Alexandra?
I think a lot of good things were already said, and I would have to just, agree. Like having somebody around you, the support, and knowing that you know best what you're feeling, right? And acknowledging that if you really checked in with yourself and were present, you really know best. And if it's something you need to do, then the next step I would think is have people around you and make your choice. And, some of the, what's the saying, right? Some of the most horrible endings is truly a new beginning. So you don't know what that new beginning is unless you have that thorn, right? You go through the pain of pulling it out and then you heal. So yeah, definitely have somebody around you that can hold that space.
So we bring this one to a close. I suppose my final thought would be the advertising slogan is one life, live it, not one life, exist through the worst conditions you can imagine and then get to your deathbed full of regrets. So on that cheery note, we'll see you next time for Christmas Eve Eve. Have a good week. All of our contact details are in the comments. See ya.